Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world. Welcome back to the Holidays mini-series on the Transforming the Toddler Years podcast. Today, we are talking about the magic of traditions. Oh, I love this one so much. But before we dive in, are you feeling the days of the holidays yet? I mean, we're in the middle of December. It's starting to crunch down on us. Even if you were really in a space of gratitude, all of a sudden it's just like, wow, it's getting really real. Are you part of our 12 Days of Christmas Toddler Tips Challenge? If not, now's the time to hop in. Come on into our virtual village. Watch the videos, really short 3-minute videos, a tip a day to keep you and your toddler finding more magic and less meltdowns. Just go to caratyrrell.com/magic and join us today. All right, let's dive in. The magic of family traditions are real. They're generational. They are legacy, and you have them. Some of them came with you from your childhood. Some of them you are creating anew and on purpose and quite intentionally, along with your partner, who also has traditions that they brought with them into the holidays. But ultimately, what are traditions? I'll list for you some of mine in a minute, but what are they? Traditions are things that we do intentionally, repeatedly, at a specific time of year that deeply connect us. They're about memory making. You are deeply connected to each other inside the experience while making core memories. That's a tradition. I mean, how magical is it? It's so good. Before I go any further, I really want to tell you a story. I love storytelling, as you know, and this one's awesome. So I'm an only child, and I don't have a ton of extended family. The extended family we do have, as a kid, we always celebrated Christmas with them in the new year because they were other places with other people during the actual holiday. So my parents and I would go out to dinner to a restaurant for Christmas. That was our family tradition. Well, I grew up in Vermont, southern Vermont, and one winter, I mean, it was just insane. So one Christmas, we woke up to feet and feet and feet of snow. Everything was closed. Right? We couldn't get to the actual restaurant that we had reservations for. The tradition just wasn't working out that year. And I will never forget this Christmas. Ask me about some of the restaurants that we went to along the way during my childhood, and I can't tell you much, right? It was just the experience that we did together. But this one I'll never forget because my dad is a runner. So he shoveled a path out of our driveway, feet and feet of snow, ran physically to the closest store, which happened, thankfully, to be open, bought a couple of Cornish game hens, came home. That was our holiday Christmas that year. Everything about it is just so ingrained in my core memory because it was an alternative to our tradition. So As we go through this topic, please know sometimes it won't always go to plan. I talk about this a lot, right? And it's okay. You are making core family connected memories. All right. So, what are some of our family traditions? Oh, I love so much thinking back to those times with the girls. We would go shopping together annually for ornaments. Everybody got to pick one, whatever called out to you, whatever was your ornament of the year was a big tradition for us. And then we got to sign our names and date them and put them on the tree. Let me tell you, the year that my child picked a rainbow kitty with butterfly wings and the other one a Disney Minnie Mouse, I was like, man, I don't know if that goes on my tree, but it went on my tree because this was about the tradition and the experience, not the aesthetic. Can be tricky stuff, but I told myself, these are not my forever ornaments. They're their forever ornaments. When they move out and they're on their own, guess what's going with them? All of their ornaments to start their tree. Cool, right? When you think about it that way, that it's not just about right now. Another one of ours is that we would sit together and watch the Polar Express on Christmas Eve. That was a tradition for us. And yes, we drank the hot chocolate, which maybe not the best idea, but hey, it was a holiday, right? Kids aren't going to sleep well anyway. They're just so darn excited. That was for us. We also read the night before Christmas. The night before Christmas. We made Italian Christmas cookies during that season and would decorate them with all the sprinkles. So too many sprinkles. Okay, this is how we do it. Just knowing you're now cycling through, right? The traditions in your head from childhood that you do now. Maybe you're like, oh, I want to do some of these too. Great. You can make new ones too. One tradition I brought with me from childhood was that we got to open one present on Christmas Eve. My kids loved this, loved it. And I didn't regulate it because in our house, the presents from Santa were not wrapped and just showed up the next morning. The presents from us were all wrapped and already under the tree. So they could pick one. The biggest, the smallest, whatever. Is this something that you do? Do you regulate it a little? That's okay too. It's about the connection and the experience. And one of my favorite things about this tradition was that we got to practice a little bit. If you listened to the episode during this series on gratitude, right? The intentionality of giving and the intentionality of receiving, when there's only one gift and you know there's no more than that happening in that moment, you can really focus in on that. It's not a flurry of that happens on Christmas morning. There's the one. I chose this for you because, and they can accept it with gratitude the night before as they go to bed dreaming of Christmas Day. Thank you so much for this gift. I love it because that one gift, really special. Okay, so let's talk real talk because traditions often feel like they should always feel like you're in a Hallmark Christmas movie. They don't. They just won't. You still have toddlers. You still have kids who are overstimulated by the season. You still have kids who maybe had too many sweets that day. You still have kids who will struggle with emotional regulate and meltdown. This is real life. So when you find yourself in the middle of a tradition moment that you have intentionally created, you have anticipated, you have looked forward to, you couldn't wait to have that moment with your family, and the melting down is happening, and you're just watching it unravel around you, and you're like, why did I even bother? Because honestly, that's what we think, right? Here's what I want you to do. Memorialize the moment. What do I mean by this? Take a step back and do that thing where you flash forward and you say, remember when we, and then narrate that moment you're in for yourself. Because what is the thing about memorializing that we do? When there's actual time between the thing that happened, we were supposed to go to Christmas dinner and we couldn't, and my dad had to go running to the store. How much stress was in that moment? Overwhelm, frustration, disappointment, calling restaurant, canceling reservation. My mom was very disappointed. She didn't expect to have to cook, maybe didn't have all the right. In the moment, it was chaos, right? But I memorialize that moment with this much distance between it for all the good it was. I see it sparkly. I remember the funny. And I even turn the hard stuff into funny stuff. And I know you have stories like that. Remember the time when we missed our flight, but then we ended up at this amazing cabana on the beach and we got an extra. You have the stories. You know how to do this. So when you're inside those tradition moments that are not going the way that you saw them going, cookies are burnt, ornament got broken, tears are happening, memorialize it. Flash yourself forward. Have a conversation with your future child, like at that age. Remember when we were doing this thing and it all went all wrong? Oh my gosh, what a funny Christmas that was. What a funny holiday that was. This is a really powerful psychology technique that will get you back into the moment and remind you that you are just there. You're just connected with your kid in that space. And you are creating a core memory. And they will remember, this is important, mamas, they will remember your energy around the experience. They'll remember how you handled it. They'll remember how you engaged with them more than they'll remember the issue. So if you can just tap into that, you'll be all set. If you need help around meltdowns, you know I have a meltdown mantra guide, calms you emotionally so that you can get back to your kiddo faster and help them regain their center too. That is in the show notes if you need it. But my goal for you in this holiday season is that you create some really special core memory traditions. Until our next episode of our holidays mini-series, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.